Now this is a turnout. Nicely done. I'm impressed. They said it was going to be a few hundred. Man, I'm feeling the energy tonight. My name is Orlando. I'm a sports anchor, sports reporter with KGW TV Channel 8. So thank you guys so much for being here this evening, and to the thousands that will watch this after it's uploaded by the Portland Timbers. So let's have a little bit of fun tonight. This is about you guys. We've got some introductions here. We've got plenty of questions. You guys submitted hundreds. And so I feel for the Timbers because they had to narrow this down into like 15 questions or so. So we're going to go back and forth. I've got a list of questions here, but the goal is to get everybody involved. So hopefully a few more questions from the audience will come tonight. So you want them to elaborate, but you also want them to hurry up so we can get into a bunch of questions. So let's do this, okay? So all the way to our left, the boss, the CEO of the Portland Timbers, Heather Davis. General Manager of the Portland Timbers. I know you guys have a ton of questions for him. Ned Grabavoy. We got some newcomers in the building, so make sure to show them some love tonight. Head coach of the Portland Timbers, Phil Neville. And one of the first orders of business was shoring up that defense, and I think they did that with this guy right here, Kamal Miller. Welcome to Soccer City. So like I said, tonight is all about you guys and getting some answers from these folks. So let's get down to business. Ned, you are up. Considering the roster shakeup this season, what do you think this team's biggest strengths will be?
Good question, and just first and foremost, I'd like to say good evening to everyone. Thanks for being here. What an unbelievable crowd, and just feeling the energy that's in the room. I know that everyone here is just as excited to get the season underway this Saturday night, as much as I am, and the others up here on the stage. So thank you for being here, and thank you for the support. Back to the question, I think a big thing for us this offseason, with the additions and acquisitions that we look to make, there was a focus on a number of things. One being we really wanted to try to drive the top end of the roster, and not just make additions to the group, but go out and find really, really good players that also had the character and the personality that fit within our group, to give us the strength in the top part of the roster. I think we did that with Kamal. If you look at his track record, and he's gotten better every year, that he's been in MLS. I think Max Crepeau gives us another really, really solid addition, and I think just strengthens that goalkeeping position overall. And then I think, obviously, hopefully soon, we're going to have a big-time DP acquisition that will give us another very, very top player that I think other teams in MLS are going to fear. Thanks. So, in connection with that, other than just trying to add quality players to the group, I also think we can't forget about some of the players that are returning from injury. Eric Williamson is a really important player for our group. And David Ayala is another young player that has a ton of potential. And some of these players last season, we didn't really get a chance to see. We lost them early on in the year, and in a lot of ways that weighed on the rest of the group as well. So I think going into this year, there's been a refreshing of the team. We've made some solid additions. We'll make one more big one. And then I think hopefully we'll start the season strong and continue from there.
Oh, that was a tease. That was a pretty good one. The 2024 Portland Timbers Fan Forum off to a bang. All right, Coach, you are up. How do you expect the style of play to differ from last year's team?
Well, I just want to second what Ned said. It's an honor to be here tonight. I think when I joined this football club 2 months ago, I think I was joining a football club with the best fans in the business. I think here tonight, the energy, the support, it's the reason I wanted to join this football club, because of the passion of you guys. So in terms of the style, I got asked that question in the media conference today. I want us to dominate the ball. I want us to dominate games. I want us to control games both in and out of possession. And I think the biggest thing is I want to entertain you guys. We're going to go for it every single game. That's my mentality. That's my philosophy. That's my feeling. That's what I was born with, that kind of philosophy. So I want to entertain. I want to control games of football. I want us to be exciting. We've got some incredible young players in our squad, and I want to let them off the leash, and I want them to go and fly the wings, and I want them to entertain. And everyone keeps telling me about the start to the seasons at this football club aren't normally that good. Well, I think we've got 2 home games coming up where I really want us to hit the ground running. I think there's a special feeling around the place. There's a newness. There's a new culture. And I can't wait for Saturday. And the biggest thing I said to my wife this morning, I want to see you guys. That's what on Saturday. The most important thing is to see you guys in the stadium. The atmosphere will be incredible. Liam Ridgewell tells me about it every single day. And, I want to come off at the end with you guys totally happy and proud of the way that the identity of the team is.
Nicely done, nicely done. Ned, you are up. The Timbers are going after more MLS players like Kamal. In the past 2 years under you, what's the thinking behind the change in that strategy?
Yeah, I've been asked this question a lot over the last year or so, even going back into last season. I think at times, just like all the other markets around the world, we probably ignored that market in some ways, either through not having proper valuation or understanding how we could potentially strengthen the group from within. And I go back to the first question as well in terms of some of the characteristics that we wanted to add to the group. Were players that already had established themselves in MLS, had an understanding, of how rigorous a season can be. The travel is different. The congestion is a bit unique in some ways. You throw in multiple competitions. Players that have been in the league and understand, how to navigate those things, there's also value in that. And so I think when we look back at trying to execute the off-season plan for us, the hope would have been to bring in one really, really quality MLS player. We were able to do it with 2. I don't think that we probably thought that we would have been able to accomplish that as we set out, but things worked out that way, and I think we're really happy with the acquisitions we made in MLS, and we'll continue to explore that market if it can strengthen our group.
You mentioned one of them, Kamal. What excites you about playing in Portland, man?
Where do I start? I've been traded around the league a couple times, and speaking to my fiance day in and day out, we've only been here for about a month, but Portland is the place that already feels like home the most. I got that a bit when I was in Montreal, just being close to Toronto geographically, but wasn't really able to connect with the city. And so far, being here, it feels like a big family vibe, which I love. Walking up and down the street, everybody's friendly and says hello. This is the team where I'll purchase my first home here in Portland. So, yeah, so with that being said, just extremely happy to be here. I played here once in 2019 while I was with Orlando, and it was an incredible atmosphere. So I'm excited to be part of the good guys and have you guys cheer me on. And yeah, it's just a place that I look to take my career to the next level, and happy it's here.
Kamal, you just knocked that out of the park, like right out of the gate. That's going to be tough to top. Nicely done, my man. All right, Phil. How do you draw on your experience as a player and now managing your players?
Well, I think I had some great experiences as a player, playing for some of the best clubs and the best managers in the world, and it's like anything else. The biggest thing you learn is about the discipline and the structure and the belief that those managers had in me as a player. And when I became a manager, structure and discipline has become the most important thing. I think with any young person or organization or business, I think having discipline is the most important thing. And from day one I came in here, I think discipline was the biggest thing I wanted to implement. Discipline, structure, and organization. And the players have took everything that I've wanted on board, straight away. Like I say, I talk about the young players in the team, but we've got some incredible senior players as well. And I was only thinking today, I was watching Diego Chara train today, and Yeah, he is like a 19-year-old. I've got to say, somebody needs to. He is an incredible. You know, normally when you play a game on a Saturday, 2 days after, when you get to the age of 32, I couldn't even bend my knees. And Diego Chara today was the fittest, the fastest, the first on the training ground. He was leading from the front, and I think in terms of what he's brought to the team already in the first month, I think he's enjoyed the work and the structure. And I think I've learned from the best, and hopefully we can implement that in at Portland.
And how have your previous coaches helped influence how you now coach today?
Well, I think that people ask me that question all the time, and you know, I always relate back to Sir Alex Ferguson, who was the best and greatest manager of all time, and there is not a magic formula that he had. He wanted you to work as hard as you possibly can every single day, turn up for meetings on time, make sure you was disciplined, and the little things matter to him more than the big things. Whether you said please and thank you, and were gracious for everyone, was humble to everyone, and that every single day you worked hard and you showed up. And from that moment on, I've seen the best in the world work. I've seen the best players, the best manager, and the common thing is hard work and discipline. Can they show up to work every single day? Can they work their hardest every single day? Is their attitude right every single day? And that is something that the best in the world do, and that's something that we're implementing now at Portland. And I think, you know, there's many successful people in this room, and there's many people that go to work every single day and have those same values. And when you have those values, I think you're going to be successful.
Heather, I didn't forget about you.
You can keep going with them.
All right, this one's simple. What's new at Providence Park this season?
That is not a simple question, because there's so much new at Providence Park this season. We're really excited to kick off 2024 with a ton of new, exciting initiatives. I was kind of nervous for this question because I got to remember them all. First, I hope everyone has already heard that your Timbers and Thorns game tickets this year also serve as your TriMet ticket, so you can take Max or the buses to the games. Yeah, we're really excited about that partnership with TriMet. That is part of our Green is Gold environmental initiative that we're launching this season. You'll see a bit more about that tomorrow, including a pilot program that we have in our premium spaces to do reusable drinkware with bold reuse. We're really excited about that program as a test case, and hope to be able to scale that throughout other parts of the stadium as the season goes on and into next season. For those of you who were our South Deck ticket holders, we have reimagined that space into the pub beer patio. We're really excited about how it's turned out. It's going to be a cool festival atmosphere. What? There is a lot of food. There's grab-and-go options. There's a new Airstream trailer bar and the world's tiniest dive bar, sponsored by 10 Barrel. It's a very cool view from up there, but we have increased the food options there, so you can get your food and your beer and get back to watching the match quickly. So we're really excited about that. What else? We have improved ADA accommodations throughout the stadium, closed captioning, braille signage, a lactation pod for mothers. So changes that we're hoping continue to make the stadium more inclusive and comfortable and fan-friendly for everyone. I guess I'm probably missing some things, but I feel like that's a pretty good list for now.
That's solid. You can always just look over and say, oh, I got one more thing to say.
Have you adjusted the lights?
I don't think that we've made any major adjustments to the lights. I feel like it's unsurprising that I would be the first person to be booed on this panel, but thank you.
Hey, that was a solid 20 minutes or so.
I feel it was pretty good. New record for me. So.
And we'll have a bunch of opportunities here to ask some questions here. I got one more, and then we'll come to you guys for a few questions, okay? And this goes back to Ned. Given there are so many competitions this season, of course, the supporters want to win them all and bring a bunch of trophies back to Soccer City, USA. But what do you think the biggest priority is this year, and how do you guys balance the team to compete in multiple competitions?
Yeah, good question. And if I have to put a priority on it, I might upset Phil, because I know how big of a competitor he is. and he's going to say every single game in every single competition. I think first and foremost, you have to put a priority on the season, and trying to do well in the season, qualify for the playoffs, and hopefully higher up the standings to try and, secure some type of home field advantage and ultimately try to win MLS Cup. I think that's, in this country and in this league, that's still viewed as being sort of the holy grail of the season. Yes, Supporters Shield is nice. Yes, U.S. Open Cup. Leagues Cup now, I think, is a tremendous competition, one that we want to do really, really well in. And I think for us, it provides us, a different chance to see our group against other competition. And hopefully the fans last year saw that. It felt a little bit like a different, vibe and atmosphere in the stadium, which was really, really enjoyable. So we obviously want to do well in the season. As we get into different competitions and the tournament format, you got to have a little bit of a feel, for how those are going and then how you prioritize in the later stages of those also. Hopefully we have enough depth to compete in those and go far. And in best case scenarios, we're far in multiple competitions.
All right. Who wants first shot?
Wait, Orlando, if I mention Killer Burger Express, does anyone take back booze? Does that help at all? Okay.
All right, let's start in the back. Red jacket, I see you. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming to your left. To your left. There we go.
So, for those of us who've been Timbers fans going back, 2.5 decades, the Open Cup matters. There's a lot of news about MLS wanting to check out. For those of us who have been Timbers fan forever, that cup matters. We've never won it. We're mad at the fish. Yeah, and cheating to get it. And this is for first for manager, and then and GM. How are we going to go get us an Open Cup? And are we supporting MLS, like just participating full on? That's my question.
I can start with that one, I think, right?
Yeah, that's you.
So I would, voice your same feelings and thoughts about the U.S. Open Cup. It's a tournament that is very prestigious. It has a long history in this country. I was also able and fortunate enough as a player in MLS at one point to compete in many of them and ultimately win one as well as an Open Cup champion. So, at the moment, you've got MLS and U.S. Soccer Federation that are in those conversations. I'll defer to them to where those are at. U.S. Soccer obviously owns that tournament, separate from MLS. And as time has gone on, I do think that there's other challenges that they have to discuss and they have to have conversations on. You look at the introduction of Leagues Cup, some of the travel and the congestion within a schedule as well, and the amount of games over the course of the year. They do pose different challenges that maybe existed 10 or 20 years ago. What I would say is back to my previous comment, whatever tournament we're in, with whatever players we ultimately put in the field, there is going to be an approach and aggressiveness to try to win and ultimately advance. And the ultimate goal is to raise trophies, and we'll look to do that with any competition that we're in.
Phil?
Yeah, well, I think I love the US Open Cup, and Kamal played in the final. He played in the final last year, and he lost. But he's going to win it this year with the Portland Timbers. No, I think at the start of the season when we were looking at the trophies that we wanted to win, the US Open Cup was along the same line, and then you think about the priority of the competitions that we want to win. I don't prioritize any competition. I want to win them all, and I think the US Open Cup is on the same line as the Supporters Shield, the MLS Cup, the Leagues Cup, because I think if you're in a competition, you've got to go for it, and I think you look at the last 15, 20 years, that US Open Cup has been a brilliant competition, and it needs to continue. And I know that the MLS and the US Federation are working hard to make sure that that competition continues to improve and get better with better facilities and better viewing figures and better viewing figures for you guys as well. So it's a priority for us, and hopefully we can get the chance to win it for you guys this year.
All right, who wants next? Let's go to you in the back, standing up. There we go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Portland. Phil, welcome to Portland. Kamal, it's great to have you here. Looking forward to a new season. I've been a season ticket holder since the inaugural season. I want to expand upon my question and my shout-out about the lights. It may not be an issue you guys are aware of. About, 3-4 years ago, there was new lighting put in at Providence Park to light the field. For anyone that's in the lower two-thirds of the bowl on the east or the west side, it is nearly blinding. You're lighting the seats rather than you're lighting the field. So wanted to see if there's anything we can do to adjust the lights so that people aren't wearing hats, wearing sunglasses, and as now we're doing a lot of games at night at 7:30 plus, it's hard to see the field. Want to see the great product you guys are putting on the field, so wonder if there's something we can do to adjust the lights to aim them towards the gameplay as opposed to the fans.
Great. Thanks for that. I mean, I don't know if there is anything we can do, but we will certainly we'll look into that and see what the situation there is and if we can make any adjustments for sure. So thanks for bringing it to our attention.
All right, let's go right in the middle. Give us just a second. We'll bring you a microphone.
I was here last year, Heather, and, this question came up then. I'm sure there's others in the audience that have this question. The question was asked about a grass field. And at the time, the answer was, well, we have the Thorns and they need to train there, and so there's just too much traffic on the field for that to work. That's not the case now, at least I hope. And so I'd just like to hear from you what the discussions are, particularly with the new Thorns ownership, and if that has accelerated the timeline when we can expect to see a real grass field in Providence Park.
Yeah, so, we're really proud of the, I think, over $130 million that we've invested privately in this city-owned stadium over the years. And we are always looking to try and improve the fan experience, improve the venue. It's a historic venue that we want to make sure is available for Portlanders to use for many years to come. So grass is something that we continue to look at. The Thorns do have the ability to practice at the stadium through next season. So we won't likely be able to look at anything until after that. I think I probably mentioned this last year as well, but there are definitely challenges at Providence Park. The sunken bowl, the climate, Tanner Creek running underneath it, and the drainage all present challenges. Storage for grow lights is another thing that we don't really have a solution for quite yet. So not an insignificant number of challenges to that project, but once the Thorns are fully out of practicing in the building, I think we'll take at least certainly another look at it and see what is possible.
FYI, that was one of the top questions submitted in here. So you guys will notice I'm moving a few of the cue cards out of the way because you guys are checking them off. Let's go up front first. You right here. Give us just a second because I'm making our team run.
Great running. Thank you. So I know you mentioned a number of trophies that you're hoping to raise this year, but there is one particular trophy that you do not get to raise. It is the supporter trophy of the Cascadia Cup. And us as supporters, that is so important to us because it's against our rivals, Seattle and Vancouver. And I want to make sure that you understand how much that means to us. And that it's a priority for the club because we have to face these people and talk crap to them.
You can come and do the team talk on Saturday if you want.
Ned, wondering if you can elaborate on that and what that means to you.
Yeah, I thought maybe she was looking at Kamal at first. Just
She was spreading it around.
Making sure
I was
a new
like,
player
hang on.
understands. No, it's look, it's incredibly important for us, and the players know that. Trust me that they do. In fact, I think last season we had a group of supporters out prior to our first game in Cascadia Cup, to talk about the importance of that when we play against our biggest rivals, Vancouver and Seattle, both who also have, strong teams as well right now. So without a question, I think everybody knows that there's a high level of importance that goes into those matches, both home and away. I think we've had, knock on wood, a pretty good record also on the road, as of late. And I know when we have our first matchup and we set out, that will be talked about quite a bit in the locker room, Phil and the players, myself, and the rest of the staff.
Let's get to a couple of more. Is there anyone over here? Let's go right here.
Hey, Phil. Excited to hear that you're planning a slightly different tactical approach from maybe we've had the last few years where we haven't had the ball very much. It's been quite defensive and attritional. We got results sometimes, but it got quite tiring to watch, personally speaking. Can you talk a bit about what your tactical identity is for the team moving forward? It was exciting to watch, Crapeau play sort of a sweeper keeper and allow us to build from the back better than we ever did, which we've always struggled with the last few years. And it looks like Evander's playing higher up the pitch. So can you talk about, kind of how you hope to play this year?
Yeah, well, I think the additions we've made already, we've signed three really good keepers that are really good with their feet, Trey Muse, Pantomis, and Max Crapeau. So straight away, and this guy next to me is not bad with his feet. So, I think straight away we want to build from the back. We want to build through the thirds. We want to control the games of football. You think about the talented players we've got in our team. Those players need the ball. They're better with the ball than without the ball. So we want to control possession. I think when you see modern football now, tactically within games, systems change within games when you've got the ball or when you've not got the ball. So I think we want tactical fluidity. But definitely when you look at our team, the profile of every single player is one where they are better with the ball than without the ball. So I think we've worked really hard in pre-season on our movements, on our flexibility and the way that we like to keep possession of the ball. And I think we have a DP in Evander who I think is going to be a big season for him. We need him on the ball. We need him influencing games. You look at the best teams in this league over the last few years, the number 10s in the league, of the ones that are the difference makers. And I think what I've seen in pre-season already, and I tried to sign Evander when I was the Inter Miami manager, I know all about him, is that I think it's a big season for him to influence this group and to take his game and the team's game to another level. And I think that's what I hope to see from our identity in this season.
All right, let's try and knock out a couple more. We'll go this. Okay, there's like four. Oh, there we go. We got to get you. Yeah. Thank you guys for the help there.
Bring you up here.
Up.
Come up here and ask us. Come up here.
Yeah, come on up.
This one's for Heather, right?
Up there. Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, come on up.
This is awesome. Oh, he's even got the new kit.
Yeah, he's got the new kit.
All right. Oh, yes.
He's the boss. He's the boss.
I think the mic is on. First of all, what is your name? Parker. Everybody give it up for Parker. Yeah. What's your question, Parker?
Are we going to play Miami in 2025?
He said, are we going to play Miami, Kamal?
As of now, no, but I'm sure later on in the season, Open Cup final, Leagues Cup final, MLS Cup final, I think we can cross paths with them.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you. Great job. Okay, a couple more. Let's go to the back right there. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, perfect.
I think the league's obviously got lots of injuries through last season, all across all the teams. I think we got hit pretty hard. I'm just sort of curious what we're doing to be preventative. What's the plan? What's the vision to be better on the injuries?
Well, I think this is a problem throughout football worldwide. Even you look at the NFL and the basketball, there's lots of injuries now worldwide. And I think this is a problem not just in football, this is a problem in sport, is the demands now on professional footballers is incredible. You think about the time off. Kamal's probably only had three to 4 weeks off in an 11 to 12 month season. It's a marathon, it's a slog. So we're doing everything possible. There's so much sports science now we've got involved now at the club with the recovery, the prehab, the rehab, the masseurs, the Pilates, the yoga. We're doing absolutely everything. And I think when we're recruiting players, when we recruited Kamal and Max, and you look at their durability, Kamal's one of the most durable players in the whole league. Why? Because he's mentally tough. He trains every single day. He's born from an era where they get out of bed and work every single day. So I think it's not just a problem with Portland, but what I would say is that we're doing everything possible with every kind of recovery method and injury prevention method to make sure, because the most important thing is we have our whole squad, our whole roster fit, because it can be really damaging as happens in the past. So I think we're doing everything possible. Touch wood, I think we're in a really good place at this moment in time, and hope it stays that way. But I think it is a problem in football, not just in Portland. And I think it's something both in men's and women's football that a lot more studies and a lot more investment needs to go into it to protect footballers. And the calendar needs to be better for professional footballers, because at the moment they're almost playing 12 months of the year, and that is not sustainable.
All right. Let's try and knock out maybe one or two more. Let's go right here. Yes. Just a second here. Microphone will come your way.
Kamal, you're a defender, obviously. Can you understand a word Liam says to you? Do you need an interpreter?
Kind of like Phil. I'm still, I'm still getting the hang of it. But yeah, he's been great with me so far. We played the same position, both left-footed. He's already taken me under his wing in ways that I can't thank him enough for. He's been great. He's had a great career, and I think he sees a bit of himself in me, and that already means a lot. So working with him day in and day out, it has been tough, like you said, the accent's there, but he holds me to the highest standard, and I think he's really going to bring the best out of me this year, and I'm excited to see how I progress over the season.
Awesome.
Well, that was fantastic.
Awesome.
Nicely done. We'll go to you. I saw that hand come up quick. Yes.
First, Phil and Kamal, welcome to the club. We're excited that you're here. I guess this is mainly for Heather. In 2022, Meritt Paulson stepped away from operational decision-making and handed many of his responsibilities over to you and your team. It's clear that he is still involved in some sort of decision-making with high-level issues at the club, such as hiring the new manager and finding the new sponsor. I'm just curious what the extent of Meritt Paulson's role is at the club on the operational level in going into this season.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Meritt remains very involved with the club as our owner. I mean, none of us up here get paid without him. He has built a championship team here. So I think I can speak for Ned when I say that Ned and I both very much welcome and value his input, but we are the day-to-day decision makers and operators of the club.
All right. Nicely done. I have a few questions we got to get in now. Phil, what is your confidence in the back line currently with the injury of Bravo?
Well, it was a blow losing Claudio, because I think on that left-hand side he gives us great balance. I was so excited to see him and Kamal playing on that left-hand side. But what I would say in pre-season, he's had the operation. He's working really hard. We hope it was a probably 5 to 6 week injury that we're hoping to shave maybe 7 to 10 days off that, get him back sooner. Meritt Miller's had a really good pre-season, and I think with the tactical flexibility of sometimes playing 3 centre-backs as well and playing wing-backs, it means we can maybe get another attacking player on the field a little bit higher up. And if you ask me about sort of like the impressive players that have really jumped to the front of my mind in pre-season, Anthony, the young Brazilian, has been absolutely fantastic. I watched a lot of him last year. Obviously, the transition into this league from a foreign country is really difficult. He's come back. He came back to training early. He's worked in the off-season. He looks fit. He looks strong. And I think he's going to really surprise some people this year with his talent. So, yes, he is a blow losing Claudio, but it's an 11-month season. Hopefully, in 4 to 5 weeks, we'll get him back and we'll see the best of him.
All right. Kind of a wide range of questions here. Here's another one. This one goes to Heather. How will the sale of the Thorns affect the front and back offices of the Timbers, and how will the Timbers and Thorns continue to work together?
Yeah, so, we really couldn't be more pleased to have been able to hand off the Thorns to the Bethel family. They are going to be incredible stewards of that club and incredible partners for us at the Timbers. We have a great relationship with them and are really thrilled to have them here in Portland and to take the reins of that team. We will absolutely continue to work with them in a variety of different ways. Obviously, we will run their matches at Providence Park. That will always be their home. We will work with them in the community on Stand Together Week and in other initiatives trying to make a positive impact in our community. I know that's important to them, and it's obviously incredibly important to us as well. One way I can tell you that we will be working with them this year, and I really feel like I deserve this moment after the earlier boos, is we will be having a co-ed match with the Timbers and Thorns this year. It will benefit, it's part of our environmental initiative. Sorry, what? Excellent. Well, we hope to repeat it this year. This one will benefit environmental causes, including the Nature Conservancy, as part of our Green is Gold platform this year. More information to come. It'll be sometime this summer. So we'll give you more details as we move along. But we're really excited to be able to do that again. I know the players really loved it, the staff really loved it, and you guys all really loved it. So we're excited to bring it back.
A little bit of breaking news there. All right, Kamal. How long have you known and played with Max, James, and Zach, all being Canadian national team players?
I'll just start with who I've known the longest. I've known James probably since I was 13, 14 years old, growing up, playing together in youth national teams. So he's one of my better friends in football and someone who I speak to day in and day out outside the field and the facilities. So it's great to have him here and really have a brother that I can rely on every day. Next is Maxime. I've known Max since I joined the Canadian national team setup in 2019, and he's just a great locker room guy. Probably better locker room guy than he is a goalkeeper, which no, that's not good. He's one of the best in the league, definitely, as a goalkeeper, but just what he brings to the team in terms of vibe and his competitive nature and making everyone feel welcome. He speaks Spanish and has been a great bridge between the English speakers and the Spanish speakers, so already he's implemented his place in the locker room as an authority figure and someone that everyone can go to and trust. And I've known Zach McGrath for about a year now, maybe a bit over a year. Gold Cup, the last Gold Cup, we played about four or five matches beside each other, and that was exciting. I think our games complement each other very well, and we're both at the period in our career where we're searching to cement ourselves as two of the best center backs in the league, so why not do it together? We can develop this partnership here in Portland and hopefully take it to the national team level. There's a World Cup coming up, and it would mean a lot to Portland, I'm sure, if both of us are the starting center backs.
I've got to say that we signed Kamal, and Kamal texted me, and he was in LA. I think it was at a wedding of Mark Anthony Kay, I think it was, or another Canadian footballer. And he texted me saying, boss, Max wants to join Portland. And I said, get lots of red wine down him and let's get him signed. So about an hour later, there was a picture come through, and it was Kamal and Max, and they were a little bit merry. So I thought, okay, Kamal, no more wine now. So, and then I woke up in the morning, there was another picture and a voice note saying he's signed already. So Kamal helped us sign Max at a wedding in. And that's a true story.
It's exactly how we drew it up as well in the offseason. Get Kamal first. They're going to be at this wedding together, and then we go from there.
All right, last one here on the cards. Phil, typically we have a slow start to the season. How do you propose to improve that momentum and get the team working together faster?
Well, I think when I was given the job in November, that the first thing, I spoke to all the players and I said, look, what's the off-season plan? There was probably a few of them that had like 6 weeks off. And there was an optional training. The MLS report back date was 15th of January, and there was an optional training from, say, the 7th of January. And every single player turned up on the 7th of January, barring none. Every single player turned up. Every single player turned up to work with the fitness coaches and the rehabilitation staff. And I thought that was a great sign that we wanted to hit the ground running. It gave us the week. We were a week ahead every other team in the MLS. And I think that attitude we've got to take into the season. We don't start well at this football club, or we haven't over the last few years. And I think what we've made a conscious effort in pre-season is to make sure that we prepare the players for the first game of the season, to start 100%, to start with a win in front of our home supporters, and to start this new era really well. I think that's really important for the feel-good factor of this football club. And I think the attitudes of the players, and this morning I woke up, I came to the training ground, there's a different feeling. The players know that the real thing is happening this week. And like I said, I don't think we can't wait to get out there on Saturday.
Nicely done. All right. We got some time for a couple more questions here. Let's go to you in the back.
Thank you very much. So one of the things about Portland is we may be a small town or a small market, but it's a big market soccer experience and big soccer atmosphere for us. How do we compete with Suarez and Busquets and Messi? What's the plan for a small market club to be able to be as competitive as we can be against them?
I'll take this one. I think, probably the most enjoyable part of being here this evening with everyone is that we feel the passion that everyone has in this room, and it extends out here into the city, and it'll be in the stadium on Saturday night. We can look at ourselves as a smaller market or mid-market, but for me, and someone that's been in MLS, this is my 20th season in a row, I look at Portland as being one of the most relevant places that you can play in this league. So at times, as MLS, continues to grow rapidly, and credit to a lot of different clubs that have a lot of different structure, there will be some big flashy names that come in at times. There will be some other clubs, that do spend more money at times on players. I think for us, our focus is ultimately to simplify what we're doing, but to try and execute at the highest level. And that's in every phase and in every section of the club. Our player acquisition, with what we spend, the players we add, the trades we make, we have to try to do that in the top tier of MLS. We spoke earlier a little bit about the injuries and the issues with MLS geographically, the travel, the amount of these injuries that rack up. Can we be focused in that area? Can we be aligned as a club and as a staff in that area? Can we be one of the best in MLS in that area? And I think as we look through all the different areas of the club, that focus, that motivation, those expectations really, the understanding not just to do okay or well enough, but to try to drive the standard and raise that bar as high as we can, is ultimately all going to add up in the end to us being one of the best teams in MLS. I think we'll take that, throughout the club and into the business side as well, each day that we work. And I would say probably the most special thing about Portland is that there's actually a pressure to win some games and to do well. We enjoy that. We embrace that as professionals and players and coaches that have competed at the highest level. That's a big reason why we do it and why we're motivated to succeed.
Let's go back there in the middle. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just wanted to mention that I know Portland in the past we've had this like reputation or perception that we didn't back the academy, or the academy wasn't important. And I feel like in the last year it's been impressive and interesting to see the developments on just putting on social media, some signings. So I feel like that's been pretty impressive, and I'm just wondering what the plan for moving forward, and kind of talk a little bit about what you've been thinking about that.
Yeah, and I look at the progress that we've made in that space, in my time at the club, and even prior to me being in the club as well. There's a lot that goes unseen. For me, the collaboration, the coaching education, the connection into the first team, the buy-in from Phil to meet with staff regularly as well has never been better. The communication throughout the layers of the club, never been better. What we've been able to achieve in the academy space, especially over the last couple of seasons, is to figure out how to compete, and not just compete, but win games. If you look at just the results from this past season, and that's moving on from a past U17 cycle that everyone said is the best in club history, and the next cycle is going to struggle. They've been going out there, they've been beating the RSLs, they've been beating the Seattles, they've been beating the LAFCs. They've been competing with every other team in the league. I think the introduction to the new MLS Next Pro League does provide us another stage of development. It is more of a development league than a true professional reserve league. This is only going to give us the ability to give these players additional opportunities as professionals to help bring them along. And the blueprint and the roster composition within that team will always include a handful of academy players that will be signed directly out of our academy as we look to continue to bring those players along. So while we may not have 3, 4, 5, 6 players that we're signing every single year, or players that are ultimately reaching the national team or become household names, I do think we've made a ton of progress in this space. Something I'm personally proud of. A ton of credit goes back to staff that aren't here because they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and couldn't be more happy with the work that they've done.
All right, let's go with you in the yellow shirt. Give us just a second.
Two comments about the T2. To find out information about them is like picking, you can't. Even on social media, it's inconsistent. I appreciate that you responded to one of my things on social media about posting numbers, because I go to a T2 match and who's this guy playing? They're like a second sister. You never hear about them in Oregonian Live. It's a problem if, where are they playing when? And in terms of the other part of the academy system, unlike the folks to the north, they're much more sensitive to adolescent players, much more open, allowing them to have social life, maybe play for a club team as well. I haven't seen, yes, it's great, T2, love them, 1975 trust here, but media, help.
I'll answer the second part of the question first, just because I think it piggybacks a little bit on the last question. I think each club is different, and it's tough to sit back with 30 teams in the league and say, well, this team signs 6 academy players every year, or this team signs this, or this team does this. I go back to a lot of the positives that I spoke about. I do see that bridge, that pathway for the players beginning to open up. I do think we'll see more young players that are included. I remember 5 years ago, we never even would see an academy player on a training field. Now those players are involved in our preseason with the first team. They're involved on a regular basis with first team players in the gym, in the cafeteria. It's very much a one club feel amongst the different levels. So I am quite confident that we'll continue to see more players as time goes on. I think to some of the media things and content, It's definitely something that we're focused on. I personally believe content, social media, we have some of the best people in the league, without question. I do think with MLS Next Pro and the Apple broadcasts and some of this being new, these conversations are happening as well. How can they clean things up? How can they tell more stories? How can they connect you and other fans in the building that do want to go to MLS Next Pro matches to some of those young players that you don't know by the content that's delivered behind the scenes? I know that they have a plan in place, and I think those things will continue to improve.
And one exciting announcement about content that he's speaking about is we have a partnership, KGW and the Portland Timbers, so every Friday night you'll see Timbers content for half-hour show, so pretty exciting. Okay, let's go to you. Orange. Yeah.
Hi, friends. Dominique, nice to see all of you again and meet you.
Congratulations, Dominique, by the way.
Thank you for following me on internet. So related to that, my question is around the North End. Everyone, when they think about Providence Park, thinks about the North End, the energy, the atmosphere, the people. The last couple of years have been strained at best, and as we turn the corner, it feels like a little bit, there are still folks who aren't going to come back or don't believe that the front office actually wants them back. And as someone who is trying to unite the North End and the 107ers supporters, I would love to know from each of you what the North End means to you and what you would tell someone who says, I'm not coming back, they don't care about us, they only want us for marketing.
Sure, I'll start. So, I mean, congratulations again on your election as president of the 107ist. I think for us, that's a really exciting development. You've been a great... we look forward to working with you in that role. Look, I think we've said it before, and we mean it. This is the best supporters group in MLS, hands down. It's why Phil's here. It's why Kamal's excited to play here. It's why we come to work every day. I grew up here. I have friends I see from high school over here in the corner that I've just noticed. And it is really special to be able to come and create an experience and memories for you, everyone in the stadium, but in particular the North End and the energy they bring. We want to make sure that we find ways for everyone in the stadium to really tap into and be as up close and personal to that energy as they can be, because it really does make the experience. And I think it's a good example of how the fans are really our partners in this. If we didn't have you in the stadium creating that atmosphere, the players aren't energized, the staff isn't excited to come to work. Like, we can't do it without you. So I think for us, continuing the dialogue, continuing to create a stadium, an experience that is inclusive and exciting, performing on the pitch, but also working with you off the pitch to create a positive impact in our community, to do better as a club in every way that we can. That's what we're focused on, and I think we feel really energized by how many people we see in this room, how eager people seem to be able to go on that journey with us. So, for us, you're the reason we come to work every morning. So.
Let's go up front.
How will you make this a better team?
That's a great question. Look, we're signing good players. You think about Kamal and Max and the DP that we're signing. That's going to help us be a better team. We want a team that can compete. We want a team that can win trophies. We want a team that makes you proud every single time you come to Providence Park. We want you to see a team with a clear identity. So I say the biggest thing is that the players that we put out on that pitch, we have incredible belief in. The players that we've brought in, like Kamal and Max and the DP we're bringing in, we've got great confidence that will make us an even better team, a team that you can be proud of, and a team that will help us win, because I know that that's what you want. So hopefully that answers your great question.
Nicely done. Let's do a couple more. We'll go to you right here. And that's, yep. Just a sec.
Just kind of following on with some of the communication theme. When we go to a match and we get the emails ahead of time and kind of give us some of the information about the opponents and things like that, it's been great to kind of see that in a format that's modern and easy to digest. It is weird kind of in 2024, though, that we have to scrape the internet for like which players are injured or which players are resting or what's going on with yellow card accumulation. And I mean, I know I can get there maybe eventually, but you know, it seems like maybe when we release the roster for the players that aren't there, if we could also have on that link available for us to just know what's going on so that we're not trying to cram in on the internet at the last minute to find out why Diego Chara isn't playing, probably yellow card accumulation.
I mean, Ned can maybe speak more specifically, but I think Orlando kind of touched on this. We are focused this year on increased media presence, getting more of that information out, social media, digital media, KGW show, and other avenues, working with more outlets. We're really excited to see the I-5 corridor being syndicated in Oregon Live. And so just working with an increasing number of sports media across the region to get that information out to you more, and you know, more readily and more easily available. So
Let's go to you in the gray hoodie, fourth row up. Yeah. No, that's you. Yep, that's you.
Fourth row.
Yeah, that's you. Yep. My bad.
First of all, thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know we're all getting rid of it. Kamal, nice to meet you here. Glad you're here. Welcome to Port City. My question is, I know we're all excited about Saturday, but I really have a bad taste in my mouth in the last 2 years. It hasn't been that great being a fan and going to the park every year. So I think maybe Ned and Heather, this might be a question for you because you guys are new here. When you look back the last 2 years, what was the problem? What happened? Because it wasn't good.
Yeah. Fair. I mean, I think it's fair. It's, we fell short of our goals and a baseline that's to qualify for the playoffs. And so to touch on your question from a sporting side, we're all equally as disappointed, and I think you look back at the course of 68 regular season games, and I think missing the playoffs by, 2 points total in both years. Yes, we're close, and yes, the goal isn't just to qualify for the playoffs, but we have a bad taste in our mouth as well. To play the amount of games that we have and fall short and not be in the playoffs, competing like we're all accustomed to, right? Those are expectations that are also built through success over time at a club, and this goes back to my comments about being relevant and having expectations and pressure, and it's something that we ultimately embrace. I think some of this as well is when you have a team together and a group together, at times complacency can set in. I do think that we've been conscious of that. I do think, within the unique roster rules within MLS, we've continued to try to refresh and tweak and make some changes. We can talk about some of the new additions of players that we have up here, but we've also moved on from some other players as well. And so it's about continuing to try to refresh the group, not just to have talented players, individually or even collectively, but to get that team camaraderie the right way, to get that culture and that environment refreshed the right way. These have been, I would say, the main topic of conversations in our internal discussions of how we're going to ultimately rise back to the area that we're accustomed to.
All right, let's go to you. Yeah.
My question is about preseason and why it's entirely impossible to consume any of the preseason games. I don't know if this is a GM or a CEO question, but this year more than others, I was excited to be able to watch preseason because we have a new coach, a new system of play, exciting new players, new kits. And apart from some shoddy YouTube streams, you can't really watch any of it. Are there any discussions within the club or at an MLS level to be able to see our team play?
Do you want to rock, paper, scissors for this one, Ned?
No, I think I was going to answer his question. I believe it's a CEO question. That was going to be my answer to that, but
No, we understand the frustration there. The Coachella tournament in particular sort of has been a last minute kind of streaming option, I guess I would say. And we couldn't do it this year for a variety of reasons, but we're absolutely looking into it for next year, and I would expect us to do it next year.
Let's go front row.
First off, Coach, welcome. Pleased to have you in Portland. I've been following you since Manchester United, so wonderful to have you here. Kamal, welcome as well. Got some City fans here, apparently. My question is going to be mostly for the two of you. It sounds like Pro is not going to be able to get their contracts done, so we're going to be looking at replacement referees as we enter into the season. Does that have any, opinions aside, does that have any adjustments you have to do on a team level when it comes to knowing that there's referees changes that are going to probably come partway through the season, consistency-wise, team-wise, anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I think we've had a lot of meetings in the off season with Pro, explaining the new rules, and there's a couple of new rules that's been implemented in terms of players going down, walking off the pitch at certain areas, and the substitution rule has changed a little bit. You've got to get off the field within 10 seconds, I think it was. There's another rule where I think if the trainer goes on the pitch and you go off with the trainer, you've got to stay off for 2 minutes. So all these rules are being implemented to improve the level of our game. And I think since I came to the MLS 3 years ago, I think the level of the referees has risen incredibly, and that's because of the investment of the MLS. I don't see any problems. We've got to support the referees. We've got to support the referees that we have on Saturday until this thing is getting sorted. And for us, it's just business as usual. I think as a professional footballer and a coach, we worry about our tactics, about the opposition, and let the referees do their job. And sometimes they do it good, sometimes they do it bad, and that's worldwide. And sometimes we like them, sometimes we don't. And I don't think that's going to change whoever's refereeing our games.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Gray Hoodie. You get the last one. You get the last question.
Well, if it's the last question, that's a lot of pressure. So this one's for Coach. It's been rumored that in past years, Timbers have been known to park the bus when they might get 1 or 2 goals up. Can we get your commitment here tonight that you're going to keep the keys in the ignition, your foot on the gas pedal, and whether you're up 1 goal, 5 goals, you're going to be looking for that next goal?
1,000%.
Thank you. Go Timbers!
Unless we're 1-0 up in the MLS Cup final, I will park that bloody bus. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, that was fantastic. That's a perfect way to wrap up the 2024 Portland Timbers Fan Forum. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This was a fantastic audience. Great questions. Thank you so much.